Going to be speaking with Wendy Dio about Ronnie James Dio after this. That'll get your Friday going, won't it? Long Live Rock and Roll, featuring the talents of Ronnie James Dio, a world-renowned rock singer who's been acknowledged as one of the preeminent voices in heavy metal music. Recognised for both his talent and his kindness, he experienced the rare feat of fronting not one, not two, but three multi-platinum selling hard rock bands. But when Dio lost his battle with cancer, leaving behind a massive canon of music and his devil horns calling card, his widow and longtime manager Wendy Dio made a commitment to continuing his legacy. Acclaimed documentary was made called Dio, Dreamers Never Die. And the DVD and Blu-ray are going to be released with other bits and pieces on September the 29th. I am more than delighted to join me on the show, Wendy Dio. Wendy, good afternoon from us. Good morning to you.
Yes, good morning to me and good afternoon to you. Yes, exactly. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure's all mine. Whereabouts are you this morning, by the way? Where do we find you on the planet?
I'm in Encino, California, which is about 45 minutes from downtown LA.
Very, very nice indeed. So tell the people who don't know about the documentary, why you put it together, what it was like putting it together, and the reaction's been superb.
Absolutely. People have been asking me for many, many years to do a documentary, blah, blah. But the people I met with, the directors, were never the right people. And then BMG introduced me to Don Arga and Damien Fenton, and they were Dio fans. And they knew so much about Ronnie, and they were such nice guys. And the more we got to know each other, the more I gave them. First of all, I was a bit protective of Ronnie's stuff, and I just give him a little bit and a little bit. But then we got really good friends. We worked on it for 3 years. Because of COVID, it took a year longer because, trying to interview people like Tony Iommi and stuff was impossible for them to go over there at the time. So it took a lot longer than we wanted, but I'm very, very pleased with the outcome. I think Ronnie would be pleased.
And what was the aim of the documentary? Was it going to be a biopic? Was it going to be highlighting this incredible voice and also the stars? Because originally, back in the day, it was originally doo-wop, which is about as far from appearing with Sabbath in Heaven and Hell as you can possibly be.
Well, we dug up everything because I wanted real hardcore fans, which there are many, to find some things that they didn't know about, which I think some of the things they didn't know about, maybe they did or they didn't know about the doo-wop. I know they did not know about the accident. A lot of different things that they didn't know about. So we wanted to throw some things in there that the real diehard fans wouldn't know about. And we wanted to make it like, Ronnie's wasn't sex, drugs and rock and roll like normal documentaries. This was Ronnie's life story. And I think it's a very interesting life story from all the things that he did and, ups and downs we had. It wasn't like an easy road all the way.
It's interesting you say that, it's not all sex, drugs and rock and roll it wasn't because he went against the type. He was extremely serious. The voice, was absolutely superb. People, from a guy who wasn't 18 foot tall, but you think he was. But he just went to prove that you don't have to be Nikki Sixx to be a rock and roller. You don't have to be fully, it's Thursday, which groupie am I around today?
Right. No, and Ronnie was always for his fans. Everything was for his fans, and he always wanted, he didn't care if he was short, tall, fat, ugly, good looking, whatever. It didn't matter. To him, it came from your heart and not the way that you looked.
That's an interesting one because I always say, and when I had long hair back in the 80s, but I always say that rock fans, especially heavier rock fans, because I'm from the West Midlands, straight North Staffordshire bit, and that's the mother node of Sabbath, of Zepp. I lived, Lemmy's birthplace was about half an hour from where I used to live, and it's, heavy rock fans are the most loyal in the world, but it's also, we don't change the start. Yes, we had the new wave of British, of heavy metal, but it's a family. And if you get it, it's a wonderful family to be part of.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right there. Ronnie's fans are so loyal. I mean, he's been past 13 years now, and we've still got 2.5 million people on our Facebooks and stuff. I mean, it's amazing. They are just so wonderful. The letters I get, the things that they said, they're just amazing people. And just, Ronnie loved his fans as much as they loved him, and he genuinely loved his fans.
So, I mean, when it comes to doing something like this, I mean, you roped in Mick Wall, who I've interviewed several occasions, and he once described me as being the living embodiment of Eagle's life in the fast lane, did our Mick. So we always have a laugh with that one. But I mean, when it comes to putting this down together, was it a case of you sitting on the phone or Mick coming over? I mean, what was the structure, and also with the directors as well? Did they have a vision and you put bits on it, or was it the fact that you sat down and said it was 1972 and?
No. I had a vision. I knew what I wanted. I knew how I wanted it done. I supplied them with all the names of the people that I wanted in there that were Ronnie's friends. And obviously Mick Wall was, an amazing person. He just did an amazing job. I think everything just kind of fell together. It was really fun. Don and Demian were the most amazing directors. They went everywhere. They went they pulled out more from me. They kept asking me for more and more things and going back into different stuff and digging out more things from our treasure trove.
So what was it like, were you guarding I mean, there's a great picture I've seen of you and Ronnie, presumably in a tour bus, just chilling out and relaxing with big grins that don't look like they've been chemically induced. So what was life on the road like? And did you, because I've spoken to a lot of rock and roll, especially wives, who they stayed at home in the stately pile and went quietly bananas, whilst, the guys are out in the 70s doing whatever you did in the 70s, basically.
Well, that photo you're talking about, we were very young then, and everything was new and very exciting to us. So I think that's probably what portrayed through that. Obviously, I went on the road a lot because I managed Ronnie as well as being his wife. At that time, I didn't. In Rainbow, I was just a wife, but as I said, we were young kids, and we were having a time of our lives, and it was a fun experience. I mean, obviously, it's not fun all the time, and you get along, and then there's things that go back and forth with bands and whatever, but it is an exciting life, yes.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the Rainbow situation, because that was an interesting, should we say that was an interesting time? A lot of very talented people who had a lot of, we would call them agendas now, wouldn't we? Or we would call them, because they had their own visions for where they wanted to go.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, Rainbow to Ronnie was his first break. I mean, Elf, he did Elf and whatever, but Rainbow was his first real, being a star, as it were. And we embraced it. We had so much fun and everything until the end when Ronnie decided he didn't want to write love songs. He didn't write love songs, and that's what he didn't want. He didn't want to write a commercial song. And Richie and Richie's people, like the record label, were pushing to write more commercially, which they did have a commercial hit after Ronnie left. But that wasn't what he wanted to do. And Ronnie was very, very, very decided on what he wanted to do and the way he wanted to perform and the way he wanted to write music, and that's not the way he wrote it. So he left.
So when did you guys first meet up? Was it in the Elf days? Was it previous to that? How did you?
No, Ronnie had joined Richie Blackmore's Rainbow. They had recorded Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, but they had not toured yet. And I was working at the Rainbow in West Hollywood. And they came in, and I knew the Purple guys because my background with Sarah and my girlfriend Judith Lord, John Lord's wife, and so Richie was having a party up in Hollywood Hills and invited me to go, and I went up there, and Ronnie was following me around and stuff, and I was like, well, he's a bit short for me, but we got on really well. We ended up talking all the time. We went out to breakfast talking. We drove up to Malibu talking, and and we just started kind of going out together. And then he was going on tour, and he said, quit your job and come. I said, no, I can't quit my job, but I said, I'll come for a couple of weeks. I went for a couple of weeks, and that ended up like the rest of my life.
And for those who are wondering who on earth Sarah is, we just had a quick chat before we went online, and Sarah Lord is a very old friend of mine, and Wendy just said, oh yes, she's my goddaughter, and everybody knows on this station I always go on about my goddaughters, so that's what completely just blew me away before we started. So it's the Padrino meets the godmother. Becoming his manager, so it's 1970 something, when you take over the management. I mean, presumably.
No, I started managing Ronnie when he was in his own band, Dio. Okay. That's when I started managing Ronnie. Before that, I was a wife. I managed the affairs at home, but I was not a manager until he started his own band.
Right. So that is now. Let me get my timeline right, because hey, it's Friday.
That's 81.
Right. So that's after after you've done Heaven and Hell. Is that before after Sabbath, right?
Oh, after, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So again, it's years ago now. It's a man's world. The record business is full of these knuckle dragging male executives, and there you are, an attractive blonde woman. How difficult was it, or did working at the Rainbow before? Did you already have some sort of some steel, as it were, and you weren't going to get you weren't going to get ignored by anybody?
Well, actually, I had worked at Decca Records in England before, and I had worked for the Rick Gunnell Agency, which for booking bands and stuff. So I did have some expertise in some way, but it was very hard. It was a man's world, and the only two women managers at this time were Sharon and me. And all the guys were coming on, oh, you don't know what you're doing, blah, 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 give it. And they had a way. We had two different ways of dealing with it. I kind of like embraced what they said, listened to them, and said, oh, thank you very much, I really appreciate it, and then did what I wanted to do. Sharon just told them to F off. That was the two different ways.
And this is the Sharon, obviously, this Sharon being Mrs. Osborne, presumably.
Yeah, absolutely. But we both succeeded, and I think there's a lot of women managers now, and I think they're very, very good at their job. I think women, they can multitask where men seem to not be able to do that. They look at little silly details that seem like silly things, but can break bands up at times, like who got more T-shirts than me or something. But there's things that, I think women take more time to look at and figure out the problems more than the men do. Yeah,
I interviewed Kim Hawes, who was the road manager for Motorhead for years and years and years, and she started off selling merchandise, but women have that. Whilst the guys are all trying to be rock and roll stars, the women can say, well, you're going to need this currency when we go into Finland or whatever, and you're going to need a sandwich at some point, and here's a selection of cheeses for you, because otherwise you get a group of guys on a bus, and you know what's going to happen to them. They won't even know which way is up by Thursday.
You're right about that. I find most musicians are like 12-year-olds.
So what's it like touring with? I mean, presumably your situation was different because obviously the atmosphere, a family atmosphere. I mean, it doesn't strike me as, like I said before, like it's not like going on tour with Motley Crue, for example.
No. Actually, on the Dio buses and stuff, everybody was a family. My crew were my most important people because without the crew, the band doesn't go on. And, we had crew that worked for us. In fact, I'm still friendly with guys that started off at 19 and they're in their 50s now, and it's like it's like we're still friends, and we kept the same crew for most of the whole time Ronnie was together, and that makes a good family atmosphere, definitely.
And while people might say, oh, it's very glamorous because we're doing Hollywood and then we're going to do Europe and we're doing that and the other, it's a very strange existence, especially when you're in the middle of a tour and you're doing the grind because you're doing night after night. You're not seeing anywhere. You're just seeing the sound check, the back line, and that's it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, but a lot of people think that touring is a lot of fun. It can be fun. I mean, it's fun at times. You go to different places. Sometimes you get a day off somewhere that you do get to go see something. But most of the time it's hard work. Yeah. How did
Ronnie take care of the voice? Was there a particular, did he, because the voice was incredible. Did he work on it? Did he warm it up? Were there concoctions? Were there potions? I mean, what was was it a God-given talent?
It was God-given talent, and all his breathing exercises would do it when he played trumpet. That was the thing, because when he was playing, as a trumpet player from 5 years old, that filled up the diaphragm, and that's what kept it, I think, his voice. Like, I mean, he had a great voice, obviously, but the control was because of the trumpet playing.
Yeah. Of course, I didn't know that, but yeah, obviously, breath, breathing, and etc.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he played trumpet he was playing trumpet. Well, Ronnie had a band when he was 10 years old, his first band. But his father made him practice like 5 hours a day from 5 years old, trumpet. So he was, he would play trumpet up until he was in the teens, and then he found that he couldn't pick up girls with the trumpet. He could pick them up with the bass. So he taught himself to play bass. And he was a bass player in Elf.
He was the bass player in an Elf. It's like, what was it? Steve Martin said that, the difference between a guitar and the bass is, the difference between a guitar and a ukulele is this, that, and the other. And a guitar will make you pick up girls, because,
that's right.
Yeah. True. When you're talking to somebody like, because Tony Iommi did a lot. I mean, he wasn't well either for a while, and so it must have been really great for to think that he would contribute so much to the documentary and give us some, and so many other people did as well.
Yeah, I think. Well, the one thing that I'm really, really glad about is that Ronnie got to go back with the Sabs before he passed away, because he just loved that. And that band was so amazing. Each person was so talented, and they played so well together, and everybody was really good friends, and everything was really good. And I'm really happy that he got to do that. Yeah, everybody came. We asked a couple of people. Most people just jumped in and said, "Can we be in the documentary?" And I only wanted people that were really close friends of Ronnie's, really good friends, which we did. I mean, Rob Halford is a sweetheart, a doll. Jack Black was always a good friend of Ronnie's. He loved Ronnie. And, all these people, Tony, of course, and Geezer, and all these people, Leader, all these people that were really good friends of Ronnie's.
It's interesting because somebody like Jack Black, who is, second generation, if you like, grew up with the music, but he's so enthusiastic, isn't he? But he knows his music, but he's so enthusiastic. You kind of have to turn the dial down a bit.
Yeah, he's a really good singer, actually, himself. In Tenacious D, I mean, he's a really good singer. We were surprised when we went, when Ronnie did the film with him. What was it? I forgot what it was called. Destiny.
Right.
Pick of Destiny. Yeah, he asked to play himself in that. And, Ronnie was surprised. He's got a really good voice, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, he sings a bit as well. I mean, he sings in School of Rock. He's singing along to Immigrant Song, and he's got in High Fidelity. He does the Marvin Gaye track as well. So yeah, he's got a good voice. When it came to the documentary being made, you got the interviews. It was all it was all together, and then it comes to the big night, the premiere. I mean, were you nervous? Because I've seen documentaries made by people who know, sons of or whatever, who were in Laurel Canyon or wherever, and then the film comes out, and somebody's got the phone going. The film comes out, and you think, they could have done that, and they could have got they didn't get the right people, and so when you're sitting there. Premiere presumably
I saw the film before. I saw several cuts of the film before it actually made it to the premiere. The first time I saw it, I cried my eyes out. It was just very moving, and I was so pleased with what they'd done. At the premiere, I was very nervous. Yes, obviously, I was very, very nervous because there was who's who of who was there as well. But it went down really well, and everybody enjoyed it. Everybody cried, and everybody laughed, and it was exactly what we wanted. And I was so happy, and I thought Ronnie would have been proud of what they put together. The directors did such a good job.
Yeah, reading some of the reviews, and they were saying, and these are hard and rock journalists saying, like, the last 15 minutes were very, really got the heartstrings, but in a right way, because we've lost a really great, for us, a really great talent, and for you, obviously, your husband.
Yeah, that was a very bittersweet journey, actually, making it because, of all the memories of going back and the photos and the videos and all the different times and the stories they asked me to tell and stuff, and that was very bittersweet.
But presumably there's a reason for putting yourself through that, and that's to tell his story and let people know what those who only saw the force of nature that was him on stage, about a little bit about the man himself.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted people to see what Ronnie was really about, and he was a different person. He loved his fans. He loved his animals. He did a lot of stuff for charity. He was a really good person. They broke the mold when he passed. I think he was just a very special person. Because I always say there's a high watermark with a lot of people. Hunter S. Thompson famously said in 1967 you could maybe see the high watermark of the hippie movement at Haight-Ashbury. And I've asked various people, like, when they're on stage or standing by the stage, you just look around and you go, this is what I do. This is why I do what I do. Was there one of those? Were you sort of, did you used to sit on the side of the stage, or were you, backstage and just sort of trying to work out what to do for the next gig, as it were? Ronnie was always very prepared for his show. He liked to drink, but not before a show. And he was usually a bit uptight before a show, and he'd yell at me a few times before he went on for something I'd done or not done, whatever. But then when he'd come off, he'd be completely relaxed and really happy and good, and talk to the crew sometimes about things that should have happened or things that could happen in the future or whatever. Yeah. He was very, very articulate about his performance.
And of course, it was on the streaming services, and now it's being released as a DVD and a Blu-ray, isn't it? So that you can take it home.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was in theaters for a few days all around the world, and then it's on Showtime here in America, and then it comes out on DVD on the 29th of September. I'm very excited about it. We've got the regular one, the Blu-ray, and the special deluxe box, which they've included a lot of stuff in there. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. I hope everyone loves it, and I'm glad that Europe gets to see it and UK gets to see it, because unless they saw those couple of shows that we did in the cinema, they didn't get to see it.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully it will get a whole new. Because as I said, rock fans or heavy rock fans, it's not just it's not our generations. It's the kids stroke the grandkids. I mean, I came out the other day and the goddaughters are playing Nirvana, and I was like, why are you playing that? And they said, is it because you got the T-shirt? They said, no, we really like it. And I was like, job done. That's it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of different people. Like Stranger Things has been wearing, Dio stuff, and I'm very excited about that. And we saw, like a couple of film stars wearing Dio T-shirts. It was like, oh, wow, okay.
Well, I mean, because if you were there the first time around, it was that sort of music. It was the album covers. It was Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, look what it did for Kate Bush, for goodness sake.
Yeah, that's why I'm really glad that vinyl's back because, especially Ronnie always used to say he'd love to buy an album because the album cover, he'd like that as well as the music. And of course, when the, cassette tapes came in and even CDs, it was like the magic of the whole package was gone, whereas now vinyl's back, which I'm really pleased about. We're doing a lot of stuff on vinyl.
Great, because I always say there was that thriller, because you have to go on Saturday morning and buy the record from a record store, and then you would rush back because you didn't have a mobile device, so you would rush back to rip off the package, smell the vinyl, and then put it on that first click, and you were off.
Yep. And our new generation doesn't know anything about that. Actually, it's funny, though, because, they say CDs are dead or whatever, but most of Dio fans like physical. They're not into digital so much. They do like to hold it and feel it and see it. But
there's a warmth to digital as well. And again, because, with our sort of rock, the performance is massive, and so you like to have that warm feeling, and maybe a little crackle edge to it, but it's that warmth in the performance that you don't get off a download.
I agree totally. I agree. But the kids are into download. My daughter's into download.
Well, anyway, what can I say? We were there first time around. The DVD is out and the Blu-ray is out on September the 29th, and the actual documentary is called Dio, Dreamers Never Die. If people want to find out more about Ronnie, and about yourself and what you're up to. Is there an official website, or where can people?
Oh yeah, we have an official, just Ronnie James Dio. You just go on there and you go there. But if you want to buy the DVD or the Blu-ray, you go to bandware.com. Dio Dreamers Never Die. So that's where that is.
Yep.
Our website, is just Ronnie James Dio website. You just go on there and we see all the things that are coming up. We're getting ready to do our Celebrity Bowl on November 16th, which is we do it every year, and that's going to be fun. Hopefully Jack will be able to bowl. He usually comes if he's not.
This is 10 pin. It's not Crown Green bowling.
It's bowling. It's fun. It's a fun evening with money going to, the Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund, which we work very hard on since Ronnie lost his life to cancer.
Sure. And this weekend, any plans for the weekend? Well, not that I'm going to pop over and join you, but just what is the weekend a little bit north of LA? What's it going to entail for you?
I have a house up in Ojai, which is a little bit inland from Santa Barbara, which is only about an hour from LA. And I'm going up there and take my dogs and cats with me and just have a fun, relaxing time up there for the weekend. It's Labor Day weekend here for us. And so, or is it more, whatever? It's some holiday here. I'm still not really.
Yeah, it's a bank holiday, whatever they call it.
Whatever, it's Monday's off, so it's a long weekend. So I'll go up there and relax. I got friends up there. We'll go out for dinner or just hang out and have a good time. It's a lovely place up there. I have a lot of orange trees and make fresh orange juice and just relax.
Sounds absolutely brilliant. If you want to check out the DVD, it's Dio's. It's coming out on the 29th. You can pre-order it and just key in, but it's on bandwidth.com. Bandware, sorry, Wendy. I've only been doing this job for years. Bandware.com. Go forth and find it. Dio, Dreamers Never Die. Wendy, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Enjoy the orange juice. Enjoy the cats. Enjoy the bank holiday, shall we say?
Yeah, bank holiday, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Wendy,
it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your support. Couldn't do it without guys like you. Really enjoyed it.